Happy New Year's, everybody. Mastery Sukuri coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. Mastery Vibes, episode 38. January 2nd, 2024. Happy New Year's. Agemaste omedetou. Feliz Ano Novo. And all the best to everybody in the Capoeira world and here on Mestre Vibes Patreon. Today I have a very special podcast. I'm going to jump right into it with what I made a list. I made a small list of what I consider my New Year's resolutions as a Capoeira Mestre. My New Year's resolutions. So what do I have for me to do in 2024? Now, these are things that I feel I already do, but I want to put them out there so maybe this can help you guys in your own personal growth process, okay? First of all, New Year's resolutions should be something you strive to incorporate in your life, and I know a lot of people have a hard time maintaining. So out of this following list of things that I have planned for myself, then I hope you guys can take one or two and make them a part of your everyday life. Remember, it's a process. It doesn't have to be perfect. So, first of all, why am I making resolutions? It's because I want to enhance and build on the professional aspects of my life as a Capoeira Master. So let's jump right into it. And the first thing I want to do is I want to reconnect with advanced Capoeira techniques. Now, what do I mean by this? So, as you all know, I've been teaching Capoeira for 23 years here in Japan. This will be my 24th this year. And it's easy to get on cruise control, which means, to just become like average Capoeira teaching, like really not challenging or doing things because I'm constantly just trying to maintain the level of my students who come at different times. So I don't have any advanced classes or beginners classes, but I have to challenge not only myself, but my advanced students to become more dynamic. And I really started refocusing on that last month. And it's something that I'm taking into 2024 as a New Year's resolution. So I will be reconnecting with advanced Capoeira techniques. I want to be able to incorporate a lot of these advanced Capoeira movements and techniques and be creative with combinations. And as I do this, I want my advanced students to become more creative in their process. It's easy for people nowadays to just copy what the master or the instructor says and not really learn to be creative in their own fashion. So I'm going to be working a lot, not only with advanced Capoeira techniques, but I'm going to really give my students the opportunity to be more creative in their movement and how they put movements together. This will also help me to better enhance my personal skills and teaching methods. As I mentioned, if I just come in every day and teach from just off the top of my head, then it's really difficult for me to keep track of everybody. I'm the only teacher here. Mestre Linguiça helps me with kids and baby classes on Saturdays. But beyond that, about 100 students I'm responsible for every week. Not to mention the people who are part of our Capoeira group around the world and the people who I'm helping to mentor here through Patreon and other things that I do. So it's kind of like, if we want to think about it, like writing cursive. Let's imagine that you got really good at writing cursive and we haven't used that because now we have computers and cell phones. So I need to re-practice my advanced Capoeira skills so that my ability to flow within them naturally. So I want to be more back to my roots in Capoeira and in acrobatic, especially movements and more difficult movements. This will incredibly help me to keep my Capoeira thinking process really fresh and creative. So not only will it help me to get into a great shape physically, but it'll help me to refresh my brain for 2024 and to get to a goal with my students that I want to. And that leads us to my next point, student development. I've always felt my students are number one, and that's never going to change. However, I'm seeing that it's easy to become sedimentary in doing what I do, and I need to give my students more freedom and more creativity. I need to give them more responsibility because it's easy to show up and wait to be spoon-fed. And that happens for a lot of the advanced students and even graduated students. So I will be giving a lot more responsibility in classes to my advanced students, and especially anyone with a little bit of blue in their cordon. So I'm going to set goals to help them earn not only new cordons for our bachizado, but really help them try to excel in specific capoeira areas such as entradas and more advanced techniques. So student development is priority number one. Oh, I don't want to say priority number one, but a top priority, right? Because me doing my stuff too is a top priority. But community engagement, guys. This year I plan to travel a lot. My amazing wife, my sons are old enough now so that my amazing wife and I can actually travel more. Contra Mexicaninana is, as you all know, is the love of my life, and I've always wanted to travel more and do more with her, and now we can actually do that, and especially in the capoeira world. So I want to be part of more organized capoeira events. If possible, share my love through workshops and more local community events now that we're back in full swing. As always, I will continue to promote capoeira art and culture in my local community as best I can. I love doing public performances, and I think that's important because there's so little chance to do rodas in Japan. I know people say that different groups have rodas, but I see my way of doing things a little different, and I want to continue with what I consider my own personal integrity and dedication and way to do capoeira. My physical and mental health of myself and the people around me. I'm going to really focus on maintaining a balanced routine with my physical training and really improve on proper nutrition. It's too easy in Japan to eat unhealthy because everything is really easily accessible. For example, going to the 7-Eleven down the street and getting like sweets or a bento. So I really need to be careful, especially as I'm getting older. And I made a promise with Contra Mestre Jacare, and we're really going to be watching each other to make sure that we're both being healthy and having a better not only nutrition, but physical training and really excelling at what we do. I am older, but I'm planning to make 60 the new 40 in capoeira. So a big thing that people talk about also in mental health, and something I always seem to end up talking about, is I had a teacher at Waseda. She was really great. I can't remember her name, but she was the teacher of intercultural communication. And she was really big on this next catchphrase word that we really studied and really talked about. And now it's a catchphrase, I feel, but when she was doing it like 10 years ago, it was still pretty new. And it was called mindfulness, right? Mindfulness, so that I can be aware of who I am as a mestre of capoeira, as the leader of my capoeira school group, and how I interact in the capoeira community. Now, when I say capoeira community, it's really strange because a lot of people will talk about capoeira, but they're only talking about a very small personal opinion. And until you travel, until you do a lot of different things, you really don't see how big the capoeira world is and how many subgroups there are. For example, each major group would be considered a subgroup, like Senzala or Abada. They're actually their own capoeira world. Although they interact with others, we start seeing that there's capoeira dynamic. And for me, I'm really comfortable because I have to be aware of one simple thing, is that I want to be able to interact with more people outside of my academia, but at my age and mental intelligence level or emotional intelligence level, I know what I don't want to be a part of. I'm not obligated to be a part of anything. Capoeira is based on the concept of liberation, and I believe that liberation and mental freedom is so important. You don't have to be a part of everything. You can choose. Why? Because it's your time. Capoeira, for me, in 2024, I'm going to be doing a lot more and traveling and really enjoying. And as a part of that, I want to do it in a very healthy and positive way. I don't need to go to places just to go if I know it's going to be an unhealthy feeling for me. I'm a human being. I have emotions, and I'm doing the best to be aware of it. So that practice of mindfulness so that I can have optimal health and well-being for myself. As always, everybody knows I am so, that's 5 so's. Always focused on cultural education. I've always done it, but because of you guys here on Patreon, I'm able to do a lot more. I have so many new things ready to go, and I am very excited to share that with all of you guys here on Patreon first, and then that will trickle out into the capoeira world and to the people around me. I want to do a quick shout out to someone who is a friend from afar, a couple of people who don't have anything to do with capoeira, but they're always here sponsoring and supporting. Adam in Australia, somebody who every time I did something over the last 10 years, he's always been a supporter. David in Taiwan, I love you, brother. My little sister, so many people who support, who have nothing to do capoeira, but just want to be a part of what I do here. So I want to send you guys all a big shout out. 2024, I hope to see you all very soon, and I love you guys. So these people are the people who support me in my cultural education. They know what I'm doing has some value, so I wanted to send that shout out. I'm going to be dedicating my time a lot more back into Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Latino, and race dynamics, also in men's mental health and contemporary mental health, including how people act. Taking care of my students and the people around me is very important. And I hope that by leading by example, people can do can take from what I do and add it to their own lives. So part of this is going to be through the capoeira's cultural history and cultural significance. I've revamped, I've reorganized how I'm going to be leading classes from now on. And it's a balance between, how can I say? It's a balance between, I feel what works best for me is a balance between teaching like that old school thug life ghetto masteries, but in a modern, contemporary, healthy, positive, dynamic system. My classes are going to be a lot more organized. I have checklists for a teaching manual that I will be doing. And this will make it so that everything that I've talked about so far today, I can make sure that I'm going into that. I'm teaching acrobatics, entradas, takedowns, everything that we're doing, footwork and all that. So I'm going to bring that all together. And I've got a couple more things I want to do, but that's also going to be part of my ability to teach capoeira. And a big part of that is music and singing. Why? To teach capoeira history and its cultural significance, I, as a master, have to be fluent in capoeira culture, history, spirituality, and philosophy 101%. And that's something that I'm going to be focusing on a lot more. I want to share my knowledge through classes, these special seminars, traveling, what I do here. and really just be significant in the capoeira world through what I consider a holistic, positive, inspirational person. That's really where I'm going in 2024. And I've always done this, but I'm going to have more time in doing what I do since I'm more organized. Like with the beginning of talking with, doing the latest interview with Mestre Shabara. He's already invited me to do part 2. And for an interview in Portuguese, and Mestre Boagenchi also wants me to do this. And I want to contribute and connect with other masters and martial artists around the world and do what I can, but aware that my time is most valuable to me. Through this research that I'm also going to be doing a lot is like, I'm really following a couple of people on Instagram that do some amazing physical fitness and capoeira. Mestre Ivan, if you haven't seen that, he's a great capoeirista, does really amazing things. And I can't remember the other guy, but he does like capoeira/fitness. And I'm really doing a lot of that and incorporating that more into my classes. So by reaching out and having humility to see what's out there, I'm hoping to bring a lot of new, fun, and fantastic training techniques, experiences, and knowledge to my capoeira classes and to the people around me. Like I said, I'm expanding my teaching methods. I'm going to be trying to do this teaching style for the next few months and see how it works. If it works well, then I will make it a little bit better, a little cleaner, and I will have a Capoeira Zoador Mestre Sucuri teaching course to help everybody so that everybody can come together and really have a better system. And it doesn't have to be Zoador style, but it can be your style, but it's going to really help to create a better teaching method for everybody. I'm really exploring innovative teaching techniques and having a blast. I feel refreshed. Like I said a little bit, I feel like over the last few months I got really busy, so organizing, so I need to get back into shape and have the humility to build more stamina to do the roda and to get into it and not use age as an excuse or work as an excuse and really just hit it. So I want to explore these innovative teaching techniques that I'm finding and bring them in so that I can enjoy more and I can do it. One thing that's difficult that Mestre Ephraim said one time is that he's been doing capoeira so long that the effects aren't as good. And also, I think when he says the effects aren't as good, it's more because he's been doing it so long. And if you don't have a passion for capoeira, or the mentality to just do it and self-train, it can be a little bit monotonous. So people add different things. I want to add different things because I feel it's evolving and it's going to be fun, not only for me, but for other people around me. Most important, I'm incorporating a lot of technology. I want to have an advanced learning experience for all of my students, for all the people around me, and all of that is made here through Patreon. Big shout out to ChatGPT. I'm using that. I will use a picture that you guys can download from here. And that picture will be something I use ChatGPT for to create. So it's really fun. It's the thinker with the really cool Brazilian feel. If you want to download it and add it to your screensavers on your smartphones. Sustainability and social responsibility. From the first day I've been teaching capoeira here in Japan, as an American and as an educated person, I understand the importance of community development and social justice and social responsibility. I've told people before, but my wife one time and I sat down, this is already like 8-9 years ago, way before Corona, that we had already raised over $20,000 in support and different things that we've done for the community over the years in value for charity. And when I say charity is when, for example, a community event asks us if we can do something, a school asks if we can do something. This is my job, this is my work, so everything I do does have a value. And when I mentor, when I do anything, all of this has value. So we're going to continue to do, to maintain our social responsibility as a group, and our social responsibility as a mastery, my social responsibility is to be involved when people need me. We've got a lot of things coming up, so I'll get back to you guys on that because there's so much happening. Finally, reflection and adaptation. Over the last few years, especially the last 10 years, as you pass the 30-year mark or the 25-year mark, quarter of a century mark in Capoeira, you see a lot of people who are struggling in Capoeira because they don't evolve. They don't want to learn. They don't want to read. They don't want to improve. They're caught up in these get-rich-quick styles of Capoeira, and they're not building something that'll take them into the future. And I'm regularly going to be reflecting not only on who I am as a master, but on my teaching methods, how I do things, how I use technology to show what I do. So I'm going to be doing a lot more in personal reflection on a daily basis and personal improvement on a daily basis. I'm going to stay open to adapting and evolving as a Capoeira master. This is probably the most important thing that I'm going to be doing more and more in a way that I can really see myself growing or improving. So I hope you guys liked these things. There's so much more that I could throw in here, but I felt this is kind of perfect. All of these things, reconnecting with advanced Capoeira techniques, my students' development, my community engagement, my physical and mental health, cultural education, networking and collaboration, expanding on my teaching methods, sustainability and social responsibility, reflection and adaptation. These are all things that I consciously and am self-aware of that I need to maintain and are important to what I consider to be an important mastery. As I had mentioned recently to somebody, to Contra Mestre Vaquero, when we were talking, what's the difference between a mastery and a master? And I said, when we use the word mastery, we're thinking about the Brazilian style, which is that old Brazilian style, probably somebody who doesn't have a lot of education, teaching Capoeira with a lot of ego and very little cultural knowledge, more movement knowledge. And anyone who's been doing Capoeira for a long time understands what I'm saying. And master is, when we put it in the English word, we have this concept of a more Asian style, someone who's very educated, someone who's very self-aware, someone who's very spiritual and very philosophical. And we need to understand that there is a cultural understanding of the word mastery in Portuguese that is different from the word master in English. And I hope to really create a better image of that word mastery to the best of my ability in 2024. Guys, these are my resolutions. This is what I'm working on, and it's just getting started. Thank you so much for joining me today and for supporting me here in 2024, here on Mestre Vibes Patreon. Lots of love, lots of peace, and lots of capoeira. Mestre Sukuri, Tokyo, Japan, Mestre Vibes.